My name is Paula Takiwa. So we're going to have a look at healthy eating and arthritis. You must be wondering, like, what's the connection? I'm a registered nutritionist working here at Arthritis New Zealand. And we're just going to have a look today at why we need to eat healthy, and also what healthy eating is, and some 10 healthy tips to help you get through and started on your journey. So by prioritising healthy eating, it just helps improve not only your arthritis symptoms, it also helps improve your mental health well-being, and also with your weight management, which is one thing that most people will talk about, or GPs. And according to the Ministry of Health website, for the management of arthritis, it says keeping a healthy weight will reduce the risk of osteoarthritis, and if you're overweight, losing some weight can help protect your joints from being overworked. So, it's so easy to say, but is it easy to do? That's another thing, isn't it? Okay. Right, so, what is healthy eating? So when we feed our body, we feed it, we want to feed it good, nutritious food so that it's able to function and, and to perform well, especially during the day, we get tired and things. And if we're eating well, it helps us get that pick up and aiming to go, getting ready to go. Our Ministry of Health guidelines on healthy eating says it's good to eat a variety of nutritious foods. So we're going to look at eating plenty of vegetables and fruits, so 5+ a day. So we've all seen that, 5+ a day. So we say 5+ vegetables and fruits, and also maybe some two fruits. Actually, they say five veggies, 2 fruits. I just said that really weirdly. And in most meals. So veggies and fruits have like a lot of fiber, and they also have vitamins and minerals and antioxidants, which are really, really good for you. And you always wonder, like, how come we don't eat more of them? So I don't know, but I think that's something that we all do. So we try to say eat as many as you can, and all different colours, because they have their own worth. They've got different, each colour has their different vitamins, different minerals. So if you can eat a variety, they always say a rainbow of colours is really good for you. And we'll talk about that a bit later on as well in the tips. Also eat grainy foods as well. So 6 servings every day if you can. And I say if you can, because it's always about a choice. So choose mainly whole grain foods that are naturally high in fibre, because they contain also minerals and vitamins as well. Mostly because refined foods that don't have the grain, you lose the chewing, and you may feel, when you don't have those grains, you may feel more hungry after you've eaten them, but we will talk about that later on. Okay, so now we've got our milk and milk products. So we talk about having 2 serves every day. So these are milk, yogurt, cheese. They provide protein, vitamins and minerals, and include a lot of calcium in those types of foods. If you are choosing plant-based milk, like almond milk or soy, just remember to find ones that have added calcium in them, because the calcium's not naturally in there. Okay. Also, we talk about having legumes as well, like legumes, nuts, seeds, fish and other seafoods, and also eggs or poultry. So those are 2 servings every day. So these provide protein in the diet. Legumes also include lentils, split peas, etc., chickpeas. So those are really good for bulking up meals, and also high in protein, and also they do have carbohydrate in them as well. Having nuts and seeds, they're high in unsaturated healthy fats. But the thing with that is nuts and seeds, they're so small, but they're high in fat. So we always just to say have a little bit, only a little bit, and they say it's about 30 grams. As a not as a meal, but just as a little snack if you wanted to. But we will be talking about that later. If you're going to choose some fish, have some oily fish like your salmons, tuna, sardine, mackerel, etc. That can be fresh, frozen, tinned, but I'll make sure that it's in the spring water if you're needing to lose weight. Because even when, so with oil, it's a fat, even if it's healthy fat, like with the nuts and seeds, the more you have, the more potential to still gain weight. With your red meats and chicken, we look at peeling back for the chicken to take off the skin before you cook it, and also with red meat to cut off any extra fat that's on the meats as well before you cook it. But they're it's very, very good for iron. And so, that's what we look at having. Cool. Right, so now we know about healthy eating. How do we get started? That's the thing, it's like, yes, we need to eat this, eat that, but getting started is where we need to be at. So, it's just putting that one foot, forward, and just getting on that ladder. So here are some 10 tips to help start you on your journey. So number one, we look at eating breakfast. So like every day. So it increases your metabolism. So, you wake up and you're like, wow, and it's called breaking a fast. So that's what breakfast is. So you're fasted for 8 hours of sleeping, and now you're here to start your body off and get it going. So you might feel, once you have your breakfast, you start to feel your brain just working, ready to go. So it gets those energy levels up. And also it may help regulate your eating over the day as well. Sometimes when you haven't had your breakfast, you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. You start to feel that way because you haven't eaten anything yet. So your body will naturally tell you. If you're going to have breakfast, try to pick something grainy. Wheat bix and porridges are really, really good. And try to stay away from like your rices and anything like that. With the cornflakes, they don't have much fiber, so you're more likely to feel hungry even after you had a bowl. Very hungry, so it may not satisfy you and you may start eating more. You can also have whole grain toast with eggs. Could have that with baked beans or a banana and peanut butter. Right, so also number two, so that was number one. Number two is to eat regular meals. So at least 3 times a day. It helps manage your hunger over the day. Sometimes what I do is I eat regular meals. So I'll have my breakfast in the morning. So breakfast in the morning about 8:30. But I always try to have my lunch at about 12 or 12:30. And then I do have a little snack in the middle at about 3. And that's like, it could be a piece of fruit, or sometimes I'll have one of these. So this is some rice crackers. So I'll just have one of those, not rice cracker, I think, what you call it. But anyway, it's a rice cake. So I'll have one of those. And it's not about having a full meal. If you are having a snack, it's just about just having something to help you on your journey during the day. And then I have dinner around 6 or 7 o'clock. Not too late, not like at 9 or 10, because you're getting ready to go to bed again. So and you're not moving much. And so try within those meals, try to include starchy foods as well. So your breads, rices, potatoes, and also some protein, which is your meats, fish. So especially the lunch times, meat, fish, eggs, etc. And have your salads with that, or some more veggies, and with a piece of fruit as well if you can. So I do try to bring my lunch from home. It's not only cheaper, but it's less tempting to buy takeaways, like to go out and actually buy lunch, because I could actually do that. So I do that because I'm trying to save some money, so I try not to. Okay, number 3, the third point, is have smarter snacks if you do snack. So if 3 meals a day don't seem to satisfy you, then having a little snack in between those times is actually fine. It's okay. It's only if you feel hungry. But choose smaller meals, not a big meal, not the same kind of meal. So maybe having a bottle of yogurt, having a piece of fruit within that time, A handful of nuts. So when I say handful, just mean a small little palm there. And maybe a glass of low-fat milk as well. And you could have some grainy crackers, maybe with hummus. So that might be something that you'd want to try. Ooh. And number 4 is to be mindful. This is a huge one. When we're eating, especially if you're working, sometimes we can eat our lunch within about 10 to 15 minutes, and you're just shoveling down your food. What we say about being mindful is to be slow and deliberate with your chewing. Take your time, maybe eat away from your desk if you are working, and actually socialize with people, sit with people and have something to eat. Even at home, try not to eat in front of the TV, try to be with other people. You're trying to get your head and your stomach to register, because it actually takes about 30 minutes for digestion to happen with your meal, but we tend to shovel everything down. So when we say be mindful, it's just recognizing that you're actually eating, and you're also having a break. Okay, so it's trying to stop the shoveling of food and not even knowing that you've eaten, and then you end up maybe overeating because you start to think you're hungry again. Oh God, that went down fast, I'm going to have another one. And then you have another meal and then you start to feel, so we're trying to get away from those things. Oh, right. Okay, so portion sizes. So this is number 5. So portion size matter. So just remember, so with your protein, so your meats, eggs, fish, etc. Okay, we're looking at our palm, and this is your portion size for your meats when you're having your meats. So mainly this will be for your lunch or your dinner times. Okay, here it's supposed to be that width. People go, oh, what? Okay, so here, this is especially for red meat and chicken. For fish, you can actually have a bit more. Okay, but all those sources are actually quite, so definitely red meat and chicken, they're really, really good source of iron. But we also, this is what our body can handle. Anything more than that, we start to overeat. Also, there's carbs as well, your carbohydrate foods, so your potatoes, your kumara, could be taro, anything like that. Okay, we talk about having a fist size. Okay, so this is how much, this is how much you have, so this is your lunch and dinner. This is the kind of size we're looking at. This is something we're not actually used to. When we get served out, normally our plates, we get served out, could be rice, we get like a mound full. The only people that can have that are athletes. So people that can actually run it off. So with your carbohydrates, they're your first line of energy. So that's what you're going to use first. So the more you have, the more you have to do. The more, when I say you have to do, is making sure that you're moving. So if you're doing more sitting, then in your meals, the fist is enough. So that might be something that you have to practice, because most of us actually have way more than that when we're eating, and we don't do enough exercise to take it off. Okay, in our non-starchy foods, we talk about having, like two hands worth full of non-starchy foods. So this is the one that should help you feel fuller for longer. This is the one that has the fiber. They have all the fiber in it. The one that you'll be chewing. When you're actually choosing your meals, even when you're at home, put the vegetables on first, and then you put the carbohydrates, and then you put the proteins on. So as it's all about, eating is a lot about being in here. So what you're looking at. okay, and also the taste. But what we're trying to do is change the having too much carbohydrate to having more of your non-starchy vegetables and the fiber, minerals, antioxidants from there. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. So if you want to start with your portion sizes, that's a good place to start, and that's number 5. So number 6, also think about what you drink. Water is actually the best. It's not going to add any energy to you, so you don't have to run it off. If you have sugary drinks, the glucose in the sugary drinks, so the sugar is very, very high. And sugar is a carbohydrate, so you have to run that off. Like, can you do that? So those are the kind of questions that you have to ask yourself. It's always about volume. Fruit, we usually try to say, eat it and don't drink it. Because when it's always about volume, so you're more likely to eat a piece of fruit, and then in a glass of fruit juice, you'd maybe have about 5 fruits inside, and you would never eat 5 in one go. I suppose you could do that with maybe with grapes or something like that. But with anything like that, with grapes, strawberries, berries, it's what can fit comfortably in this hand. When you're choosing your fruit, it's what can sit comfortably, not like this, but like this. What can sit comfortably in there is a good serving size when you're choosing. When we're talking about drinks, alcohol, just keep that to as moderate as possible. With alcohol, it's actually just full of empty calories that you just have to burn off. It has no nutritious value in it. So if you're trying to lose weight, you try and minimize the amount of alcohol that you're having. Okay, so that was number 6. So number 7, try to fill up on those fruits and veggies. So the fruits and vegetables have a lot of fiber, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. So those are the things that your body actually needs and wants. They're actually low in energy. So you don't have to be running it off like having a whole bowl of rice or a whole. Now, when I say a bowl, it's like we get rice and we have to run that off. But with your vegetables and fruits and things, it's not as vital to run it off, and you're more likely, when you're sitting down, you feel a lot better when you're eating them. You don't feel so bloated as well. We know that with fruits and veggies, when you have those more, they can prevent heart disease and also some cancers as well, especially bowel cancer, which we're finding now there's an increase actually of that diagnosis. So trying to make sure that we, before having, when you're having vegetables and fruit, it just helps with that area of your body. And so we always say we encourage to have that. You can also look at frozen. You can, frozen vegetables. Frozen vegetables are good as well as fresh. With fresh vegetables, you're trying to eat them as soon as you can. I think at least within about 3 days, because once they start wilting and things like that, you start to lose the vitamins and minerals. Whereas with frozen, it's just snap frozen, just right there and then, and the vitamins and minerals are still inside. You make sure that when you cook them, you put them into boiling water and don't lose the water. So anything, if you're going to be boiling your vegetables, keep all of the nutrients by keeping the water in them. With canned fruit, you can have canned fruits as well. It doesn't have to be this. But with canned fruits, normally you wouldn't eat the whole can in one go. With canned fruits, they're normally in 2 servings. So you can have one half of it as 1 serving size. And also pick the ones in juice and not in syrup, because syrup is just added sugar that you don't really need. With fruits, they already have their own sugar in it in the form of fructose. Eating it is better than drinking. And I just wanted to reiterate that from before. Okay, so you're wanting to snack on those if you can, like, we talk about carrot sticks and things like that. rather than snacking on biscuits and cakes and things like, things like that. So that's where you start trying to change it up a bit. And if you don't normally do that, you can just give it a go. Give it a go. Hey, number 8. Yeah, number 8. Make sure you're picking like some whole grains, when you can, because these are high in fiber, and it goes further, it helps you feel fuller for longer. I'm going to give an example of bread. Like, so if you're wanting bread, try to choose the whole grain. So with a whole grain bread, you're more likely to only have 2 or 3 pieces of bread compared to maybe a white bread. You may eat like half or 3/4 of the loaf and then feel full. Whereas like the whole grain, because of all of the chewing, it takes more time. You're less likely to eat more. And in the long run, it may end up being cheaper because you're eating less. That's also with choosing more not like water crackers, things like that. It's better to choose a grainy cracker, ones where you're having to, you're more likely to have only about 2 or 3 of those compared to a whole packet of water crackers, because it's just easy to eat. So, and you can have that with hummus, try and make it, nice. Yeah, okay, cool. And 9, try to cut back on fat where you can, because it's just added energy that needs to be used. So we're talking about milk as well. So looking at going from, so if you're on dark blue, going to light blue, then going to green, if you can. And I think that's the hardest bit. Some people stay on light blue a lot longer. It's like a transition milk. And some people do like the green, but I actually prefer the light blue. But that's the taste thing, and that's a reality of how people choose their food. So, and also with your meats, so your chickens, your red meats, try and cut off the fat where you can. So when you're looking for your meats, try to find meats that don't have the fat like running through it. Try and have it so they're, if you are choosing some meats, that they're on the outside and you're able to cut it off. Cut that back before you cook. And also with the chicken, taking off the skin, because the fat is actually under the skin. Take it off the skin before you cook it, so that the extra fat is not being cooked in there. And I know that's actually the best part. People love eating that, but and it's that's the number 9 could be the one that you want to choose to try, when you're at home, because it's hard if you've always had fat in your meals. So, and it's just trying different ways. If you're needing to lose a little bit of weight, when you start doing that, you'll find that you'll just lose weight just gradually. We don't want to be losing weight too fast. And also looking at not having fried foods all the time. So you're not always getting your meats and frying them all the time, or whatever it is that you're going to fry. Looking at grilling, poaching, I don't know, parboiling, or doing all these different ways of cooking. It could be boiling actually. Okay, and number 10 is to replace your salt with other flavors, like with with herbs, herbs and spices if you can. And I think it's something to get used to. If you can reduce your salt, most canned products will have salt in them. So you're trying to reduce the amount, and then we add salt again on our on the table. So what we try to say is put the salt in the cooking and not on the table. So just do what's necessary in the cooking stage, because we don't want to be adding extra salt. Most of our food has a lot of salt in it, and we do try to say, have as whole as possible, with your foods. Most of the products that are on the shelves will have salt. So that's number 10. So those are the tips that we have for you. So hopefully you'll take something away on that. And just remember, when you're eating healthy, you are actually prioritizing your arthritis. And, we're looking at changing one thing at a time, not the whole 10. So when you go back through this again, have a look. You can have a look at which ones, appeal to you, which one do you want to try, and try that change until you master it. Try it for at least a month, and see whether you can actually master that, and then try another one. So yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed that today, and we will see you later on, and thank you very much for listening.